play with no rehearsal.
Men quickly they'll come for your role. Games to play, can't take it
Personal, cause the devil is a lie. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. The things you gotta do. Hey, barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, we go live Sunday to Thursday every night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the barbershop, man. We had Keyshawn Davis. It was an awesome show, man. We had a great show last night. So this is in response to last night's show, as reported by a media outlet. That Devin Haney has agreed to terms with Gamboa for November 7th. And it's on Boxing News 24. You can feel free to go check it out. And, this is why common sense always prevails, yes, I was excited about the potential of creating this fight. And I never lost sight of it being looking at it from 5,000 feet. I was hoping and praying and hoping, the Christian way. And can't happen, dog. And if you go watch my videos, I explained to you about 10 days ago. I did a great video last Saturday on Al Heyman. And then a couple days prior to that, I did an interview not an interview, but a video explaining what this fight has to go through for it to come into fruition. You understand what I'm saying? Because making this fight puts promoters out of business. Making this fight, changing the logistics of the business of boxing. And everyone's is going to want to place blame on choosing sides, because that's the easy way out. That's literally the easy way out. Oh, Haney ducked. Oh, Russell ducked. You know what I mean? The term sheet wasn't good enough. Oh, Russell didn't reply in a timely manner. Now, albeit some of that stuff may be true, if not all of that stuff may be true. Yet at the end of the day, the powers to be in boxing is going to make sure that they maintain the power in boxing. And I would look at it from a from the top down, not from the bottom up. I would look at it from a DAZN and a PBC thing. And Eddie Hearn is the face of DAZN. I didn't get a chance to do that video that I want to do. And Al Heyman is the silent face of PBC. And I said this yesterday on live. If Al Heyman gives Gamboa, I'm using the term gives Gamboa to DAZN, Gary Russell had no chance at fighting Devin Haney. You guys got to look at it, get out of your emotions and understand what I'm saying. If DAZN accepts Gamboa, Devin Haney was never going to fight Gary Russell. You see what I'm saying? All this shit was just smoke and mirrors, and because the powers that be have to remain in boxing, it's not by accident that Al Heyman is on work going into his 3rd decade in the sport of boxing, and Bob Arum is going into his 6th decade in boxing, and they know what to do and how to do it. Imagine if the inmates was running the prison. Imagine if the fans were running boxing. It puts the hourglass upside down. Do you think 9 out of 10 people want to do what's right? You know what I'm saying? So that's why we got to use our spending power. We got to not show up. We have to keep our money in our pockets. and not just be satisfied. So many people are just satisfied. You know, we in a Christian, I'm talking about America. We in a Christian society where we're taught to turn the other cheek and, more importantly, forgive and be friends. I don't know where they do that at. That's not welcome in my household. I'm not going to forgive you for betraying me and then be your friend. That don't work in a Hawthorne household. That's why self-sustainability, self-accountability, and self-belief and always betting on yourself is immense. And until boxing changes, until literally power to the people is actually in real time and in real life, this will continue to happen. You will see Tank Davis versus uh, Leo Santa Cruz. You will see um, Pulev versus Anthony Joshua. We should have saw Wilder versus Joshua a long time ago. You see what I'm saying? And I genuinely believe that um, quarantine has opened up a lot of eyes. Um, now we can't say we don't know anymore, because we've seen the power of the internet, we've seen the power of platforms, and everyone has eaten off of what began in the barbershop. Everyone, and everyone's supposed to eat off of it. Everyone's supposed to be an opportunist. So that means, let me just put that word for understanding as it pertains to opportunists, because I think that when when we misappropriate labels, people tend to believe it, right? I created this narrative with Gary Russell being the primary variable in the barbershop, right? And it has allowed enemies, allies, frenemies. Everyone has gained traction because of it. You know, people have gained followers, fans have become more engaged, people have been monetized, you know, et cetera, which is fair. We're in a capitalist society. You know, I don't really care. But the fact that we misappropriate words and just take it as status quo, and instead of being independent and understanding what the truth is, you know. So but as I digress, Devin Haney's probably more than likely going to fight Gamboa. And it was a fun ride. It showed a lot of power. And I want everybody to understand. I don't care if no, I'm not even gonna go that route, but I'm just to say people value green more than black. And that's the bottom line, man. And I will stand by this. Gary Russell is one of the few fighters on PBC that has been mistreated, that hasn't got the fights that he's should have gotten. I still don't understand Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares too. Don't get it at all. It don't make sense to me. Um, um, three fighters of mention: Frampton, Mares, Santa Cruz, should have fought Gary Russell. Right? WBC never mandated. You know, never suggested. You know, I mean that they be the mandatory enforce. Um, so I just think that my interpretation of this, Al probably has done 95% things right, and this ain't coming down. You guys got to understand. Isolate this. I'm not saying Al Heyman hasn't been great for the sport of boxing in terms of making black millionaires. I'm just talking about this isolated incident. You know what I mean? It's like, if I do something wrong, don't go say, oh man, but he was great 95%. No, nigga, if I'm wrong there, I'm wrong. That's what accountability is. I don't need people to say, "Oh man, Fred's a good guy. He does good for the community." Yes, in the complete narrative and the totality of the person. But if I do something wrong, isolate the incident and say Fred did something wrong. And that's just accountability. That's just what men do, and weak minds always want to associate A to B. No, isolate variable A, isolate variable B, and deal with variable B. Whether you're for or against a certain situation, people use that to eliminate themselves and or to be safe. Fuck being safe, man. Don't be safe. All right. Take a chance. Bet on yourself. All right. Go listen to Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle. He's gonna give you 2,000 examples of taking risks and inspire you. You know. Um. So this is not an attack on Al Heyman as it pertains to the 95 great things he's done in the sport of boxing. Just isolate this. Okay. He's doing business. The Zone is doing business. Devin Haney is the last of their Mohicans. Anthony Joshua is not signed to the Zone. Devin Haney is. Do they think he could be the face of the Zone like they thought Canelo would be, like they thought Canelo was at HBO, like Showtime knew Floyd Mayweather would become? It just goes on and on and on. Mike Tyson on both of them. It's just the reality of it, man. So I think that we need to see things in its totality as it pertains to seeing the business of boxing from 50,000 feet. Stop being emotional when you're talking business. Stop listening to the narrative and understand the context. It sounds beautiful, but the truth sounds different because it has to hold you accountable. Okay? People don't want to hear the truth because it holds them accountable. Like me, some may say I ignored the truth. I was a I've may ignored the truth in my personal life in some regards, as it pertains to being financially responsible. I've taken a leadership role in accountability and as opposed to keeping my life easy and simple. I said, you know what? I'm just going to grow and grow and grow and grow, especially as it pertains to recycling my money in Asian and Black communities. And I want my children to see it. I'm very intentional about that, and it's challenging at times. It's exhausting when you got to drive 15 miles to go somewhere, or drive all the way across town to go get $1.50 key made, as opposed to going to Home Depot and what I mean, going down to Rodale Drive. And if you look at my closet, I have tons of pieces of Louis, Gucci, Ferragamo, la 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 la. The list goes on and on. And that was easy, and now it's important that I support Black businesses like this sweater, that I be intentional, in terms of the conversations and the dialogue that I have with Lincoln and Kennedy. It's important the conversations that Dre have in terms of long-term financial responsibility, which is important. And I think that this is a conversation that needs to be had in every household. If you have blended families, these are conversations that you need to have. These are important conversations. If you have a 100% Black family household, they must see mom and dad being financially accountable to their every dollar that they spend. It's not hard. I mean, excuse me. Strike that comment, Your Honor. It's challenging. It's not easy. So I encourage um uh everyone to start seeing the big picture and start being accountable, man. Start being accountable. And I encourage all black fighters, man, start building these black platforms. It's just important. It's very, very important that you fans start respecting platforms. Um, start respecting the fighters. As I look at this, I look back and I say, made sense to me. I enjoyed the fact that Gary Russell and Devin Haney were engaging in these type of conversations. And some may say, people, this should be made public. How you gonna educate? The truth is to be told, not sold. How you gonna educate people if they don't know the truth? It's like me. Every chance I get, I try and teach you stuff that got me to the quote unquote top. Or more importantly, I am 100% independent. My life is 100% independent of someone else giving me a check. Well, let me strike that because I have tenants, right? So, but it's independent. You understand? And how I got that information because a man who's never dropped out of college became wealthy and he taught me the game. Imagine if he didn't tell me. So I think that these fighters are doing us a great service. There's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of energies that goes into this, and that's fair. You have every right to be human. You have every right to experience a human experience. And the great people can understand and elevate themselves and take themselves out and cathartically um, understand the situation. So I'm yes, it was exhausting sometimes. I got tired of following the motherfucking live chats and then just being exhausted by the end of the day and then coming back doing my show at night. Yeah, it's exhausting on days, but it's information. It's information that I didn't know, that I learned. Whether it was a game or whether it was for real, everyone should walk away from this like I it worked out. You understand? So everyone should walk away from this more educated. All right. I'm fortunate enough that I've done things like this in the past, and I never and will never make it public. Um, I've helped out some fighters. They call me sometimes, every blue moon, not often. And um, it's just the reality of this, man. So I encourage everyone, man. Um, understand what you're dealing with. This is a conglomerate. This is big time business. You know what I'm saying? And Al Heyman has responsibilities. The zone has responsibilities. If you're not getting what you want, pull your money. If Tank Davis don't fight, I'm gonna give you guys an example. If Anthony Joshua don't fight the winner of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, why are you subscribed to the zone? Next, excuse me. If Tank Davis don't fight the winner of Gary Russell, Devin Haney next, considering, why are you buying a pay-per-view? If you're a fan, family members, etc., yes, you have every right to support that young man. I'm just exclusively talking to people who just love the sport of boxing, who have no dog in the race. Why are you supporting the sport if it's not giving you what you want? If Washington Mutual, whoa. if if store A doesn't have milk, what do? You drive down the street to store B. If store B don't have it, if you persistent enough, you go to store C. You see what I'm saying? Expect the same in the sport of boxing. They'll respect you. And that's the one thing that I know, that people um, who don't like me, they have to respect me because they're working hard to tear me down. Oh man, and it's a compliment, and I'm gonna forever egg them on. I'm gonna forever excite my haters. I'm the great agitator, and I love it. So, and especially when it has no bearing on my lifestyle. You know, if it had like if I was an employee, I would be tiptoeing through my 8-hour job. I don't have to tiptoe. So, um, it is what it is, man. And you have the truth. What are you gonna do with it? Bob Arum told you. Bob Arum told you. Y'all gonna go whatever we tell y'all to go. If Al Heyman, if this is true, Al Heyman is telling y'all, y'all ain't shit. Bob Arum told you, y'all ain't shit. Y'all gonna listen. Y'all gonna. This is the business of boxing. We want to maintain, sustain, and elevate our threshold, our stronghold, expand our circumference in the sport of boxing, and that's the truth. Y'all should be thanking me. Don't take it out of context, but be thanking me that there's an independent media outlet that goes to the fights and brings back the truth. I don't come back home and be like, well, I'm biased to some degree, right? I'm human. Yet I still tell the truth. I'm not excluding the 95% great things Al Heyman has done for black fighters in terms of generating wealth for them. I'm not excluding that. So tomorrow it could be a video on how he's been great for Deontay Wilder or Earl Spence or shit, Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. I'm isolating this incident. Anyways, this is 22 minutes, probably 18 minutes too long. At the end of the day, independence is key because my happiness is not contingent. For real, my happiness is not contingent on whoever fucking fights. I enjoy it, but it's not real happiness per se, so um I mean, pure, what the fuck did I just say? It's not like it just overrides my happiness is what I wanted to say. Love the sport of boxing. I get emotional about it sometimes. But when I take myself out of the situation, it just I go back to my happiness meter and see it from 50,000 feet. Until we pull together our finances and be like, hey, we got 50,000, 100,000 fans that do not support, and we are not buying this pay-per-view. You can do whatever you want. We're not buying it. And what you gonna do? I made some of the greatest phone calls ever made as it pertains to Paula Malignaggi. Wealthy Jewish men. Wealthy Jewish men. Play poker with them all the time. We got real relationships as it pertains to that. I see them cheat on their wives all the time. You know what I mean? I see them drinking. I see them with their yarmulkes on. We playing in mansions and motherfucking in the valley. You know what I mean? Everyone got $50,000 in their pocket. I've been there, done it. For real. Being dead ass honest with you. So, at the end of the day, I got to take this call. Anyways, man, barbershop conversations, man. Feel free, hit the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.